Hello everybody. Merry Christmas one and all. Happy holidays. Happy festive period to everybody out there. Hello, hello. Hope you're all well. Good evening, Kurt. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to you, Mark. We are live. This is our last live of 2022. We won't be doing one next week. Oh, excuse me. So I thought we'd do a little bit of a hangout this evening. We'll do some hobby. I have blue foam. I have lots of blue foam. And yeah, we're just going to have a good time. Happy Chrysler. Thank you, Alice. Merry Christmas, Victor. Here's Kataro. Merry Christmas, my friend. I hope you are all well and good out there. You got muted? How did you get muted? Yeah. So, how are we all? Is everybody good? Everybody happy? Everybody excited for the weekend? Christmas has really just snuck up on us, hasn't it? Oh, I see. I didn't get a notification telling me that that's what you'd done. Good evening, Dave. Merry Christmas to you, sir. I have a bag of jelly tots. Thanks to Alice. She knows how to keep me happy. I promise I won't just sit and eat jelly tots for the entirety of the stream. These will be my last 3 for a little while. It's going to be Arctic cold there this weekend. We've just come out of a really cold snap. And honestly, it was horrible. We can't heat our flat very well. Like, the kitchen, most of the sort of hall area with the stairs and the living room is all just one big open plan concept thing. So heating it is impossible. And I work in the loft, so I have to put the space heater on, and the space heater is really effective, but it gets too hot, so you have to turn it off, and then it just immediately all just evaporates and just gets really cold again. Charlie, Merry Christmas to you, my friend. Long time no see. Dan Buster's here. Good evening to you. Merry Christmas to you. Yikes, it's good. It's supposed to be minus 10 degrees. Real feel Friday. Ugh, that's horrid. Merry Christmas, Dan Buster. Yes! So, we're going to be continuing with our Golden Demon entry. Oh, here's some news for everybody. You've been asking me for it for a while. I've been working on a Chaos Lord on Karkadrak. There it is. That's what I've done today. I need to basically shade him and highlight him. That's all that remains on him. So there you go. We've also done some Chaos Knights. Can't hold on to it for some reason. So Chaos Knights video incoming very soon. Don't worry, we're still going to be releasing videos over the Christmas period. So we've got some Chaos Knights videos on the way. We're going to be having this guy. Video about that, absolutely, is on its way. And we have another video appearance from the Arch Revenant, this time in the colours of the box art. This is a present for Adam, who is on his way to the Maldives as of right now, so he won't be watching. But there it is. So we're going to be doing that. So you've got 3 videos at least. I'm hoping to get a 4th one done. But we shall see. We shall see what time permits. So, Golden Demon. Last time, many moons ago, some of you will remember that I was building a tree. And before I get into this, please do make sure you leave a like on the stream, because it lets YouTube know that I'm doing a good job, and that everyone's happy. Did you get any Battle Force boxes, Josh? I didn't get any Battle Forces. Somebody might have got me one for Christmas. I don't think they would have done, but I didn't get any, no. They all looked really good, but I didn't want any of them. The only one I wanted was the Knights one. And that was only because that would be to replace the Knights army that I already have and don't want to get rid of. Victor, you just got Nagash. I really want to do Nagash myself. Good evening, Chewy. Merry Christmas to you. Holy Diver, good evening to you, and Merry Christmas to you as well. Do you know what I think we might be able to do? What's that? Engage with your audience. What I might do a little bit later on is I might drop some gifted memberships in the chat for you, if I can figure out how to do it. So anybody... I might drop some gifted memberships. Just, you know, because I feel like it. I think it'll be fun. But yes, you'll recall from many moons ago that we built this tree. We built this tree armature here. I've got it here. We built this bad boy. And I figured this was a good start. But I then also wanted to add some elevation. We've got some lyrics coming through, and I don't want lyrics. Because it's far too distracting. Merry Christmas to you, Ben Richardson. Hello from this side of the pond. Jakob Kapchurkiewicz. I absolutely butchered your name. I do apologise. I admire your black storm drake, but I would like to do one in a dark purple / bluish tones with the same methods you did there. Any advice on which paints should I get? Merry Christmas. That's a very good question. Shyish purple is alright. Leviathan purple is really good for that kind of thing. I think it's more consistent than Shyish purple. Problem is it's very dark, so you will want to thin it down, but in many ways that makes it better for doing this kind of thing. If you want it to be a brighter purple, you've actually got Luxion purple now, which is really good, but again, it's very bluey, and it can be a little bit unpredictable. So, I think you probably want something like Magos purple or something to go over as your pre-shade, and then you want to kind of start bringing it down through various different layers of thinned down Shyish purple or Leviathan purple. It depends on you how dark you want to go. Magos Luxion purple again is another good shout, but you kind of need to get your hands on all three and just see which one you like, and then go from there. That's probably the best advice I can give you, because that'll tell you which tone you're after. Happy holidays. It is my first to see your lives, but I do like your work. Oh, well, welcome, Mema, or Mema. I'd recommend Leviathan purple with thinned black Templar shade. There you go. Dave's got the answer. Right, yes, anyway. So, I have bought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks of blue foam. Because basically what I want to do is I want to effectively create a kind of like a sort of like a cliff face that starts kind of around about, if we go here, kind of a cliff face that comes along here, maybe, Alternatively, I want to do Pride Rock. So, the reason I brought them in this size is it means we've got kind of a little bit more with which to work. So tonight what we're going to be doing is basically we're cutting out the design. So essentially, having it that way around like that. Is essentially, because what we'll do is we'll like kind of cut it and scrape it to get it down to where we want it to get to. But I think maybe that is too much height, if you see what I mean. So for scale, if we get a Space Marine, there we go, Mark 6 Space Marine, pop that like that, I think that's a little bit too high. You see what I mean? As I kind of just want it to be like a clear elevation. But so like we would do like kind of rock molds all the way along here. The alternative is that it's kind of like that sort of thing. So we've got like, so it's all based on the hill, as it were. I'm not entirely certain. So that's the reason I got the big knife out. To kind of just do some sort of like cutting and scraping and things. But I'm pretty certain that the elevation I want is 2. Like that sort of height. And maybe we could do like a third one that's like that sort of size. Hello, Mr. Gwatkin. Merry Christmas to you, sir. That kind of size. Because we can kind of cut it away. If you see what I mean. I don't have a health and safety certificate to use this blade. But what I need to do first, before we do anything else, is I need to kind of pin these things together. Well, see, Dave, I think by having the variation, the elevation, it means we're going to end up not having the same size tree. That's what I think is going to happen. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut some pins using that same garden wire that we bought for the tree. So I'm going to cut pins to be about they've gone. Okay, we've got one. The other two might have gone forever. God damn it. You know, that's what we like to do here. This time I'll actually hold it. There we go. So I think the trick here is to just basically take this, stab it through like that, and we'll put another one kind of about there. So we're not going to be gluing it tonight. This is really just kind of a test run. Like that sort of thing. And then we just need to kind of align it. like that. And to be fair, I can probably use these longer ones. In fact, if I just... It's a little bit of an overhang there. That's fine. It'll be alright. So... If we just... No, it's way too long. No, not yet, Dan Buster. We haven't played yet. We're going to, though. She promises. Let's just press that in. Keep the secret rules under a jumper. How was it playing Lord of the Rings with Josh for the first time? Yeah, it was really good. He assured me that it was balanced when he brought the Fellowship of a Ring, and he gave me 12 Moria goblins. Didn't feel very balanced though. Right, there we go. Right, so what I might just do is just reposition this one a little bit. There we go, that's better. No, I will never stop sulking about that. I'm going to have to convince her that she doesn't want to be the good army. Right, here we go. So, now with the big knife. Essentially what we want to start doing is cutting and scraping it. But I think what we want is we want a block that goes in the middle there. So what I might just do is cut this in half. Kind of eyeball it a little bit. Maybe we kind of do it there, or like that. Or like that. I think like that, so it gives it kind of more of this Pride Rock vibe. Kind of a roundabout. I don't think that's in the middle. No, it's not. I don't want it to be a roundabout there. And you just pull the thing apart by accident like that. So it will need gluing, but we're not going to do that just yet because we are test running it. So actually that needs to come a bit further back so that it's not kind of falling apart too much. So essentially now comes the kind of job of yeah, no, they absolutely will. So it now comes this kind of awkward section of shaving where you just kind of want to start that kind of thing. Okay, you're just not wanting to play ball? Fine. You save these bits, because you never know. I probably need a third pin or something to just ensure that this is going to stay together. That's going to keep happening otherwise. I think it's probably going to be like as far back as there. It's going to bring us right down because we basically want to get all of this area off. Oh, I've lost my pins. Oh, it's hard work. Oh, I need to turn the heater off as well. That's why I'm starting to sweat. This is what I mean. It gets cold in here. Just pop you out of the way for now. Fortunately, we don't have a cheese grater good enough. If I just move this over like this. I think the sensible thing to do is to have glued it. So I think doing this without it being stable is hard. And I knew I probably should have done that before I came live, but I didn't. I just didn't think about it. It just keeps falling apart, and I'm gripping it quite tightly here. I'm not really hyped about it, to be honest, Dambuster. The only reason why is because it's too far off to even think about or care about. Like, it's not happening in the next 2 years. It's happening in the next 5. These things always do. Right. I'm going to pop this to one side for now. Come back to it a little bit later. Because the other thing I do need to do tonight, and I hope you don't mind. Good evening, Mr. Biltong. Merry Christmas to you, sir. The other thing I do need to do tonight is actually finish off some bases. So we're going to do that next, and then we'll come back to that if we've got time. I cleaned off my brushes especially for this. I need to save all of this. So that's going to be important for something else later. We can pop the big knife to one side now. Here's the big knife, just one last time. Ah. 5 years is optimistic. Yeah, I mean, right? I think until you've got a writer attached, depends who they are. Like, I wonder if the optimism would still exist in the community for it if it was D&D who wrote Game of Thrones taking over the project. What do you reckon is a starting point for blue horrors? Talasar, Frostheart, or Assaman? Assaman or Talasar, I think, would be where I would start. So I've got all of these bases to do. So we'll do a bit of that. Give my hands a rest. So I need some Basilicanum. Actually, I have a feeling I need Black Templar. Yes. For these rocks. I'm thinking, and let me know what your thoughts are on this, guys. I've got 10 Chaos Warriors here as part of this Start Collecting set. And I've been thinking of a couple of things to do with them. And I think, you know, there's definitely merit in doing like how to paint all of the marks. But let me know how you feel about this. I was actually thinking of doing a how to paint black armor and just collecting all of my black armor recipes into one video and showing you what they all look like side by side. And that way I've got a fully black armored unit, which I can use because I want to be able to use this army. And it also kind of ticks something off the list. Is that something that you guys would be interested in? Because I'm trying to think of a fourth video to do between now and the end of the year. And there's either a, you know, 2 undivided. Oh no, that one's already done. 2 undivided Chaos Warriors, 2 Khorne Warriors, 2 Nurgle Warriors, 2 Tzeentch Warriors, 2 Slaanesh Warriors. But then I thought, what about that black armor thing? And I'd put it to you guys as a litmus test. Is that a skull? No, that's a rock. One of these does have a skull on the base. Is there any specific recipe you recommend for Anvils of the Heldenhammer? Actually, yes. No, I do have. I have a video for on how I did Anvils of the Heldenhammer. I think I did it as purple highlights, but I can't remember. I'd check out my video on it though. If you look up Warhipster Anvils of the Heldenhammer, you'll find it. There we go. Which director or writer would you love to see do a 40k movie? Oh god. Maybe Rian Johnson. I'm not sure. Yeah, okay, Toasty. Maybe I'll try and get that done then. Maybe I'll call it like Black Legion versus Black Templar. That'll sound like a battle report then. Because I know in my time I've used a lot of black recipes. Get out of the way for now, Mr. Carcadrak. Any reason not to airbrush them on? I guess the reason not to airbrush them on would be you don't really need to airbrush those layers if you're doing black, because if you airbrush Black Templar enough, it'll just be black. The reason why I wouldn't use an airbrush to do something like that is because I would then have to go back in and reprime all the areas that weren't going to be those colours. So for example, something like an Alaris Custodian, you'd have to go back in and reprime the cloak. And I tend to want to avoid doing that, which is why I don't really tend to, like, if I'm doing a black armoured army, I wouldn't spray it black and then use grey sear to layer up the areas that I wanted to paint with contrast. At that point, it just seems silly. So you might as well just do classic. I mean, there's no reason not to do it, you know. I mean, you could always do, if you were doing a whole army, you could always do like the pre-shade. So you could do like, you know, have it all primed white and then like airbrush, for example, the purple. Airbrush the purple all over and then do the Black Templar over the top. But I think, you know, my favourite recipe for black at the moment is using Black Legion and then using one of the new shades. Because it immediately just makes it nice and dark and nice and glossy. Well, not glossy, but give it that kind of satin finish. If you use Nuln Oil, it's quite flat. If you use Drakenhof Nightshade, you get a nice sort of bluish black finish. If you use Druchii Violet, you get a slightly purpley tinted black. If you use a green, you get a slightly green tinted black. There's lots of things that you can do with it. So like these guys, for example, that's Black Legion followed by Nuln Oil and then highlighted with some blues. I think it looks fantastic. Well, highlighted with some greys. I'm just waiting for the Black Templar to dry in a minute. Actually, I don't need to do that. I can just get Skeleton Horde. Paint those skulls. On this guy. What army are you most looking forward to painting in the new year? Oh god. Well, my next funnily enough, Custodes. Custodes is a big one for me next year. Because I've got a pile of them to do and I need to get them done. All the resin dreadnoughts, all that kind of thing. So they're one I'm really looking forward to getting done. The next thing that I would want to do is I need to finish the Grand Army of Chaos project. It's been going on for far too long. The Slaves to Darkness portion of it should be finished quite early in the next year. Would love to see you do some Virtus Praetors. Yeah, so I've got Virtus Praetors to do. Virtus Praetors, I've got... Actually, that reminds me, I need to pick up Janisha. Janisha Kroll. Because I want her to be my Knight Centaura. I've got all of the Dreadnought, like I said, all of the Dreadnoughts. I've got a tank as well. I need to get that done. Is that Black Templar dry yet? No. This music's a bit intense for my taste. That's better. Yeah, I've got a Caladius. I think this is the mostly dead pot of Tyrant Skull, yeah. Right, we need one of the slightly knackered dry brushes. That one. No. Let's go with this one. Yeah. So I've got to do the Arch Revenant. I don't know what colour he wants the base rims actually. I'll just do it black. Can't go wrong with a black base rim. Good evening, Graham Munn. Merry Christmas to you, sir. Doesn't matter that I've gone a bit heavy on the back there because I'm going to be covering this in foliage. So that's alright. But yeah, I mean, did I finish my thought about what I'm going to be doing next year? I think, like I said, I might have said this, I might not. I might have just been thinking this in my head. I think one of the things I really do want to get done next year is, or at least started, is what army I'm going to have for my Grand Alliance Death. Which I think is going to be Flesh Eater Courts. I've always wanted to do flesh eater courts, because I really like them. I'm just hoping that they're kind of due a bunch of new stuff. And the only reason I say that is because I don't... The only thing that's kind of put me off them is... in order to run them effectively, you had to have something like 90 to 120 ghouls. And I didn't really want to paint 120 ghouls. I wanted to paint... Don't get me wrong, I wanted to paint a bunch of ghouls. I wanted to paint a lot of ghouls. And have, like, a bunch of different ones. But, like... You know, I don't want to have this kind of thing where it's like endless units of 10 ghouls, which is why I'm kind of hoping that they get a couple of new things, just to kind of break it up. Because again, I don't hold with there being like 300 zombie dragons as well. I think you should have one, maybe two. Good evening, David. Merry Christmas to you. Any thoughts on the new Army Painter metallic speed paints? If they work, they are a game changer. If they do not work, then it proves the point as to why they haven't been done yet. If you see what I mean. Because the inherent problem with metallics is that you've got that kind of... If you've ever thinned down a metallic paint, it always separates, right? You've got your shiny pigment, and then you've got your actual kind of coloured pigment. So, for example, something like I think it's Grey Steel. You've got shiny silver pigment in there, but when it separates, it's purple. There's purple in there. The problem with doing like a metallic contrast paint is that the shiny pigment is too heavy for it. So what ends up happening is you get all of the shiny stuff runs into the recess, and you end up with this kind of faintly kind of glossy finish on the rest of the panel / on the top area. Now, if Army Painter has managed to avoid that, and you get the same kind of shine all the way through, then the stuff is game changing. If not, I think it will be a bit weak. I don't think it's possible. Oh, Chewy, thank you so much for the 10. Merry Christmas to you, sir. Hello, Hugo Hirsch. Hugo. Why did you paint the Chaos Knights black and not the dark silver of the Chaos Warriors? Well, these Chaos Knights are the push fit ones from the Start Collecting. Now, if the rumours are true, in fact we know that they're true, we've seen already that there's going to be a new Chaos Knights kit. And that's going to be multi-part. So, my plan is to have a black armoured army that accompanies Archaon, and a silver coloured army that accompanies Be'lakor. Now the Chosen are painted in the silver because they are going to be accompanying Be'lakor. These Chaos Knights are going to be part of my Archaon army, hence why I've done them in the black. But when that multi-part set comes out, they are going to go into the Be'lakor army. Because my intention is to have two 2,000 point Slaves to Darkness armies. One that is Knights of the Empty Throne / Hosts of the Everchosen. And the other one is Disciples of Be'lakor. So that is my intention. And the reason for that, Hugo, or Hirsch Hugo, however I say your name. The reason for that is because of Eternus, Blade of the First Prince. Have you seen that model? If you've seen the Eternus model, you'll know what I'm talking about, baby. Because he is bloody... Okay, yeah. Look up Eternus, Blade of the First Prince. That is a new model that is on the way. He is Be'lakor's right-hand man... Or one of Be'lakor's right-hand men. So he was previewed by Warhammer Community ages ago because it leaked. He is a chonky boy. So my intention is to run Be'lakor with some Chaos Legionaries. So I need to pick some of them up. And there will be some warriors in there. Some Chaos Knights. And maybe a couple of demons here and there. I need more paint on this brush. Yeah, there you go. Hugo's found Eternus, Blade of the First Prince. So someone like Eternus has to have some Silver Warrior Knights to follow him around. How do you normally thin your metallics? I find if I water them down on my wet palette too much, they separate badly. Don't thin them at all and they go on like a thick paste to get decent coverage. So Graham, I don't use a wet palette. I think what's happening there is you're creating two layers of thinned paint. So when you're putting it down on the wet palette, it's thinning it out in one way, and then when you're adding additional water or medium to it, it's thinning it out a separate way. And because metallics have a tendency to separate because of just the nature of them, you're kind of getting that separation much quicker because you've got two different methods of thinning that are going on there. So I would recommend try thinning your metallic paints on just a piece of tile or a bit of palette paper or something, or a bit of plastic, like a Tupperware lid or something. And you might find that it goes a little bit easier because it won't be sitting in these kind of thinned puddles, as it were. Does that make sense? Because it's just what metallics do. They all do it to a fault. Because it is just it is a glittery pigment of some description. So like a gold pigment or a silver pigment, and then it's coloured using a normal coloured pigment. So like I said, in the instance of Grey Knight Steel, it's purple that does it. Yes, Dumfries Gamer. Good night, Charlie. Have a great Christmas, my friend. Hoping you do a Khorne Berserkers tutorial down the line. I need it. Well, when we get the new Khorne Berserkers, if I receive them, I shall do a video on them. And if I don't receive them, I shall buy them and I shall do a video on them. That's a Warhipster guarantee right there. World Eaters is going to be big money for everyone. There's another Primarch. Alright, time to get tufty. So I'm going to pop these to one side just for the moment. So we're going to get tufty with the Arch Revenant first. And for that I need this. And this. Can't wait to see your angry Ron. I can't wait to get my hands on him. I think that model's going to be one of those ones that once it gets out into the community, the people who don't like it will be told to sit down, as it were. Oh yeah, this is what I was going to do. Your channel. Go to me, and I want to join. Oh, one moment, guys. Just need to borrow my phone. Okay, so yes, I have just joined my own channel. There's a reason for that. So what I'm going to do is I am going to buy so as my gift to you guys, for anybody who wants it, 5 of you are going to randomly get a gift membership from me to become a member of the channel, and that means that you'll be able to get access to the Discord that we have. So this is a little Christmas present, as a random Christmas present to 5 of you. So if you've, make sure you've, in fact we'll do it in a minute, but like just make sure that you've got accepting gifts turned on, and then I will gift some memberships out to you guys. Well, it might go to a Patreon. It's entirely random. There's nothing I can do about it, but unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about it. But yes, here we go. So I'm just going to hit buy. So there we go. There you go. Merry Christmas to Mike Seaton, the Impaler Vlad, Matt West, Synthus, and Kurt. A Merry Christmas to you all. Right. Mike. It's one of those things. So we're going to just start adding some flowers here. So we've got yellow, red, blue and white. I'm going to add one colour of each and then we're going to fill in the rest of it with grass. And then see where we're at. So we're going to pop a red flowers down here. We're going to grab some white flowers. Pop them in there. We're going to get some blue ones. Yep, you also get access to some emojis, I believe, and some badges. I'm going to pop a few more white flowers in there because I like them a lot. Maybe not that size. A slightly smaller one. There we go. Pop it there. Like that. And then we need some grass. Just going to pop in here as well. What's the best way in here? Probably that way in. Like that. And pop a little bit more in here. Is this one that's a bit too big? I think that probably looks about right, to be honest. We've got one more small one that we can pop in. Just there. And to pop one in here. And we put one there like that. Yeah, they're gamers grass. Gamers grass tufts and flowers. It's all gamers grass. I'm a big fan of their stuff. There you go. How awesome does that look now? And then we have we're not going to be putting any flowers. On our Chaos Knights. Any Primarchs on the schedule for 2023? Yes. Rogel Dawn, Angron, Magnus in Demon Primarch form, and Robute Gilliman. Actually, we're going to need those, I think. Let me just check. Yes. Yeah, there's a ton of Primarchs coming in 2023. Need one more on here. I always find it's much better just to not think about it as you're doing this. Probably is actually only need 3. Pop this one on here. Like that. Bosh. Hey mate, personal thoughts on the Warhammer production with Cavill and Amazon. We talked about this a little bit earlier, Eater of Worlds, and good job you didn't miss this. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for stopping by. And we've got 27 likes on the stream, guys. Let's see if we can get that to 30. If you haven't already liked the stream, make sure you do. Now would be a good time. Personal thoughts on it are that, I mean, it's cool. It's got the potential to be great and do massive things for our hobby. and for this IP. But at the moment, I don't really care, because there's nothing to know about it and nothing to know about it, if you see what I mean. So, like, we're about five, as I said, 5 years, optimistically, about 5 years away from anything actually realistically happening with it. So, it's cool. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. And I'm especially looking forward to what it could possibly mean for Warhammer going forward. Especially if it's executed well, and it's just a good. I just want a good TV show. I don't really care if it's a Warhammer show. I just want a good TV show. That's all. The fact that it's Warhammer should accentuate it, if you see what I mean. So it's like, you know, Space Marine the game. Space Marine the game is a fun game. It's a decent game. There's a number of games that are very similar to it. The reason Space Marine is so good is that you're playing as a Space Marine. But the core fundamentals of Space Marine as a game are that it's good. The mechanics are fun. The story that it's wrapped up in is what makes it excellent. But you just want a good game at the core of it. It's the same thing for a TV show. You just want a good TV show at the core of it, and then for it to be flavoured with 40k. That's the trick with it. You don't want to make the best Warhammer TV show you can. You want to make the best TV show set in the Warhammer universe. And that way, all the same principles of good TV apply. Because, like, a good Warhammer 40,000 show, like... So for you and I, as fans of the IP, a really good thing for that would be something like the Siege of Terror. Because it would be like, wow, it's the Siege of Terror, wow! As a TV show, it would be terrible. It would be really awful if that was what they launched with. Because you're launching with this baseline for new people that of Primarchs and Custodians and Space Marines. Normal humans won't factor into it. So what will then happen is people who don't know about Warhammer will watch it and go, oh wow, why are these people so much taller than normal people? And they'll be like, oh, because they're Space Marines and they're this. And it's like, yeah, that doesn't translate. So what you want is you want a really good TV show that is set in the world of Warhammer 40,000. So think of like something like, I'm trying to think of nerdy TV shows that have been really good. In fact, the Netflix Marvel shows, Daredevil, as an example. So that is a really good show set in the Marvel universe. It's not a really good Marvel show because it's about a different aspect of Daredevil. It's a different reinterpretation of what Daredevil is, with quite faithfully to the character, but it's still it's areas like, you know, in a comic or in a film, you wouldn't necessarily show your superhero getting tired during the fighting. Whereas in that show, you really did see that, and you saw his growth into becoming the Daredevil that we know and love. And then they did a really cool twist with it, you know. So, like, the Daredevil show is completely different to everything else that's in Marvel. And I would say that's the same for the Jessica Jones show. And I would say that's the same for the Punisher show. And I would say that's less similar for the Luke Cage and the Iron Fist shows. I think they were too too Marvel, if you see what I mean. And that's why they weren't as good. Because they just felt very generic. Whereas Daredevil really shone through. I think you've got to introduce. The problem with 40k is it's so massive. Is you've got to introduce so many themes that it can be overwhelming. And if you try to do too much of it, it will fail. If you try to introduce the whole of the Warhammer 40,000 universe at once, it will fail. Which is why I don't think you need to see a show that has the Emperor, the Primarchs, the Custodes, the Adeptus Mechanicus, the Space Marines. You don't need all of that. You absolutely don't need or want any of that anywhere near a 40k show that's trying to launch this as a universe. What you want to do is you want to build up to that. So what you need is a central character that is basically unlocking the themes as we go and discovering the universe with the audience as you go along. That's the problem, is you need with something as massive as this, and with science fiction in general, a lot of the best science fiction, what you'll have either a main character or a secondary main character who knows absolutely nothing about the universe that they're in, technically, and they have it all explained to them and it's represented on the screen. And that's you being like, oh, okay, I get this. What you need someone like... You almost need to see it through the eyes of a guardsman or a normal hive dweller or something like that. You need to see it through their eyes as they are opened up and explored to more of the universe and discovering what it's all about. And 40k gives us this framework of your general run-of-the-mill soldiery has absolutely no idea about the wider universe, whereas Space Marines do. So you can't have Space Marines wandering around going, but what is a Tyranid? It doesn't make any sense. Or, you can't have Space Marines... In fact, you can't have Space Marines discovering what chaos is. Because they should know. Whereas Astra Militarum, they don't really know or understand. So having them have it revealed and discovered for them, alongside a character who knows what's going on, that's how you introduce people to 40k. I've been saying this for a couple of days now. I've texted in most groups. What you want to see is you will need to see a Space Marine, but you only need one. And he only needs to be on screen for 5 minutes. Like, you've got to... Where is the most emotive part of Warhammer 40,000? Like, all of the horror... Like, the Space Marines don't feel fear, so that you can't have a horror show that has Space... You can't show the horror of the Warhammer 40,000 universe through the eyes of the Space Marines, because they don't feel it. You can't be like... you can't do something like... what's a really good creepy show? Because that's part of it, right? Is like, what are you going for? You're going for action, you're going for horror, you're going for suspense, you're going for thriller, you're going for all of that. You can't do all of those emotions through the eyes of the Space Marine. So you have to have... But as I've said a number of times, I've heard a number of people say this now, actually, as well, is you have a Space Marine turn up like Darth Vader at the end of Rogue One. That's what you do with a Space Marine, and it makes people go, oh, that was fucking cool. Do you know what I mean? That's the impact that it has. And that's why you don't have Henry Cavill star in it as that one Space Marine. Season 1 of this is literally just one appears at the end and sorts it all out. That's what you do. And that's the show that you make. Because the problem with 40k as a universe, and you know, the problem with 40k as a universe is that if you explore it through if you have those ever-present, ever-powerful characters there all of the time, it becomes way too like, oh, they're just going to sort it out. Like if you go, oh, we're going to do a story about this one guy or this one girl gets found by a custodian and they go on a long merry adventure. You're going to be like, well, our hero, protagonist, our main character, our mortal, is never in danger because they're with the custodian. The custodian will sort it out every single time. Until it comes to this big bad thing that overcomes the custodian. And if you do it that way, it's like, well, the thing is so big and bad, it's killed the custodian, which means no one's got any chance. And then it becomes completely unrealistic for the viewer, because you've got to have that sense of realism. It becomes completely unrealistic for our viewer to have our protagonist, who is new to the universe, kind of pick up the pistol at the end and kill the bio monster. It doesn't make any sense. People would just be like, ugh, this is bad. And I think, sadly, the show is going to be viewed as bad by the 40k faithful, because if it's going to do what it should do, then the 40k super faithful shouldn't like it, because they'll have a problem with, oh, they're just like explaining everything, and it's like, what about the real fans? Those people have to hate it. But what you want is for your mum or your dad or your brother or your sister or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your husband or your wife or your cousin or your best friend from high school or whatever. You want that person to go, oh, I know Kurt, Dave, Hugo, Underdog Painting, Bombhead Brian. I know Eater of Worlds. I know Josh. I know Brother Ferris. I know Chewie. I know that guy. And he does this thing. I want to watch this show. And then they watch the show and they're like, do you know what? That was really compelling. I can see why you guys like it. Ah, Mr. Dasmal Wargaming, hello. To you too, sir. Yeah, so a number of the stupid hot takes I've seen about the whole thing is like, it shouldn't be on Amazon, it should be on Warhammer Plus, and it should be made for the real fans. And it's like, why? You guys hate this thing, so why would Games Workshop, but why would anyone want to spend hundreds of millions of pounds? Because that's what's going to take to make it look like the wet dream that I think people want it to look like. Why would they spend that much on a bunch of people who are just going to shit on it anyway? So, no, that's not the whole reason why you make a 40k TV show. You make a 40k TV show because you want everyone to see it. You want it to go out to a global audience of hundreds of millions. And the best place to do that is Netflix or Amazon Prime. Or Disney Plus. But I bet Disney Plus isn't the reason they went for it, because Disney would want to have a slightly restructured. Disney loves to sell merch, and I think Amazon can get away with not selling merch. I think the reason you go for Amazon is because it's got a bigger reach in general than than Netflix, and I think you can structure a deal with Amazon whereby they don't sell merch, because the problem is if you give someone wholesale ability to sell merchandising, what you run into this risk of is if say I'm in charge of 40k and I sell the IP to someone like Disney, and then Disney goes, oh cool, we're going to partner with Hasbro for them to make a board game out of this. You've now got a dilution of IP where people are able to make miniatures. Based on your game, and Games Workshop does not want anyone making Warhammer 40,000 miniatures. So I think that's why they've probably gone with Amazon. It's the global reach, but also that it'll been structured so that they don't sell anything. But then it might be, and this is the thing that I was excited about, guys. I don't know if anyone's even thought about this yet, but as much as it was maligned, partnering with Amazon, with the IPs that Amazon has, if that partnership goes back the other way, you might start to see things like Rings of Power Warhammer. You might start to see things like the Expanse Warhammer. That type of thing. You might start to see games made by Games Workshop based off Amazon IPs that they own, using the technology that Games Workshop has at its disposal, if it goes both ways. That's what's incredibly exciting about it. That's another thing to bear in mind. I disagree with you, Eater of Worlds, about Rings of Power. But everyone's entitled to their opinion. The complicated thing about the Lord of the Rings Warhammer is that they're so tied to their New Line Cinema deal that they can't, like, the reason it's in a silly kind of smaller scale is so that the pieces cannot be kit bashed onto other Warhammer models. Because, you know, I think the Galadrim warriors, their style of miniature would look awesome as like high elves and wood elves in Warhammer Fantasy Battles and Age of Sigmar, but they're too small, so you can't use them. And it's very purposely done that way so that it can't be used. But, you know, it is a point to be made. I saw the thing about Rings of Power is I saw enough in that show to think it's going to go somewhere really good. That's what I was most optimistic about. I think if less happens in season 2 of it than what happened in season 1, then the show is a bit like, come on, you're dragging your heels a bit. But I think season 1 was a good enough advert for me for about where it's going. I do 2 coats on the room, yeah. Thomas Ball, technically Amazon already sell Warhammer merch, but books, etc. So like anything that's Black Library is licensed, but it's made by Games Workshop. It's just sold as a resell through Amazon. Anything that's not made by Games Workshop that's sold on there that's Warhammer merch is unofficial merch. So it's like Games Workshop could shut it down, but just don't. What I mean is, like, if a company was able to make a Warhammer board game that wasn't made by Games Workshop. So, for example, you know, Steam Forged Games have just made the Elden Ring board game. Imagine if you sold the rights to a cinematic universe to Disney, and then Steam Forged Games bought the rights to make a board game about Warhammer 40,000, and then made miniatures based on Warhammer 40,000. Games Workshop would not like that. Would you do a series of painting through all the Forge World character models? Martin, if I could get my hands on every single Forge World character model, I would absolutely do it. But it's a very expensive proposition. I've made a good go of it so far. I've done 5 Primarchs. Horus, the Lion, Sanguinius, the Khan, Magnus. Dawn is there. Yeah, there's my 3 loyalists. Yeah, and I don't have any of the traitors. Yeah, I've done 5. And I did, what's his name? Saul Tarvitz. Actually, I've made a really shit go of it. Oh, I've done Konstantin Valdor as well. I would love to do all of it, you know. It's one of those things of, like, if I had infinite time, there's so many projects I would like to get through. Like, I would love to be in this position where I have a painting tutorial for at least one of every single faction in the game. And we're not in both games, and we're actually not that far away from being able to do that. I haven't done a video of Dawn yet. Dawn is here. He's on my side table. He's one of my. I'm going to try and get it done in the first quarter of this year, depending on how much stuff comes out in January and February. He's one of my things. So, like, I've got over there. I've got Alariel, Catacross, and Thanquol and Bone Ripper, Kataro to do, and I've got Magnus the Red. I then got Dawn and Scarbrand to do. These are all kind of my big projects that I just need to find the time for, and this kind of Christmas period is generally quite good for that. So I'm currently getting sort of videos done that I thought would be easy to do before Christmas, and then after Christmas, in that kind of gap between the end of Christmas and thing, I'll try and get a bunch of these big boys done. So we've got 4 videos coming out to take us to Saturday 30th. So 3 I've definitely got done: the Karkadrak, the Chaos Knights, and the Arch Revenant 2.0. I'm going to do this Black Armored video. That's what I think I'm going to do. For Chaos Warriors. I think I will do that. So looking forward to Alariel. I'm looking forward to doing it as well. I primed the Beetle black. I have a plan, but I primed it black. It's the first time in a long, long time. Rude says, I like your content, but why do you use those terrible / expensive Citadel brushes? Well, I don't think they're terrible, and I also don't think they're expensive. What I do think they are is they're a very easy brush to get a hold of for most people who are starting out painting Warhammer. And one of the things I'll let you in a little bit of a secret behind the scenes. The kind of first half of my videos where it's kind of getting it up to that Warhipster battle ready standard, that is intended to be filmed in such a way, using materials in such a way that you, as anyone, can watch that, whether they are brand new or they've been around for ages and they've got tons of paints and stuff, that they're able to do it. So if you're brand new and you've got Citadel brushes and you've got Citadel paints, you can watch that and go, I'm familiar with these products, I have half of these, I can do this. If I've been around for ages, I'll go, I'm not going to use that Citadel brush because I actually really like the Rosemary & Co ones. But what you don't want as a new user, and I know this firsthand, is when I would look up videos and I'd be like, how to paint X, and it would go, we're going to be painting this, so the first thing you want to do is you want to get out your airbrush. And I'm like, nope, I don't have an airbrush, so this video is useless to me. So that's why I use the Citadel brushes. It's all part of the plan. Yeah, so my plan for Alarielle, because basically for the top half of her you've got this blue sheen, and for the bottom half you've got this purple sheen, is basically to highlight them up in really bright blues and purples, and then to use Leviathan blue over the top and Shaiish purple over the bottom, and it'll give it that really nice effect. Yeah, that's why rude. I mean, it's one of those things. It's like it is a difficult one, because it's like the subtlest thing can throw you off and can throw off a user. So it's like, again, so it's very subtle and very simple, but it's like if I look up how to paint Blood Angels and I click on a video and it goes, so we're going to use Vallejo Red, I'm like, I can't watch this video because I don't have that paint. And if you are brand new and you've got it, you've got the model in front of you, so you're sat there like this with your Chaos Warrior, like, all right, how do I paint him? And then I go on the internet and I look it up, and if the very first thing it's like, use this, and you're like, oh, I don't have that, it means either I make the choice to not watch that video or not paint my miniature, and I would much rather paint my miniature than watch a video. It's one of my biggest bugbears as well, when it's like, we're going to be doing this with Citadel paints and Citadel stuff. And then they go, so we start by priming it with Vallejo Air Primer. It's like, no! You didn't use a Citadel product! Every vehicle tutorial, apart from mine, as far as I'm aware, every vehicle tutorial, apart from mine and the ones made by Games Workshop, all either use an airbrush or use stuff from other companies. But they tell you that it's not. And actually all they do is they do a Screaming Skull dry brush at the end. That's the only Citadel that's in it. What I might do is I might make a video that's like, you know, I've been thinking about this for a while, and again, it's about finding the time to do it, but it's like how to paint. It's like basically like painting a miniature using your my first stuff. So like, you know, like I would have to buy one of those paint kits to do it, and then paint up a miniature using that stuff, and then go, hey, here's the things I would get to bolt onto this. And then I might do a follow-up in that video that's like, once you're 6 months in and you've figured out the stuff that you like and dislike, here's where you can go next. Do you know what I mean? Because it's tough, right? Because it's like, there's such a fine balancing act, because, you know, I'm painting with like contrast paints anyway, so that's over and above what you would normally expect from the thingy. What I might do is I might talk to Firestorm Games about getting a contrast paint starter bundle and having that linked on the channel. Would that be useful? Would that be something you guys would find interesting at least? Because that is quite a popular question on here, isn't it? It's like, what's the top 5 you would buy? You would recommend? And like at the moment, it's this paint is so crucial to everything that I do. What's your top 5 paints? Black Legion. Anything else? Black Legion. A series of bundles each tailored to a specific faction would be a great idea. Yeah, I mean that's the other thing is I need to talk to them because I was going to talk to them about doing bundles based on content. What I definitely need to get better at, and I can only apologise for this, is I need to get better at not using every single paint under the sun. Because I do that sometimes on some models. I'm just like, we'll throw in some yellow, and we'll throw in some green, and we'll throw in some red. And it's like, yeah, we probably didn't need to do that. A Nighthaunt bundle. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I know you've been asking me for some Nighthaunt videos, YouTube user. There will be some stuff in the new year. I've got, I believe, some Glaive Wraith Stalkers and some Mirmorn Banshees actually to do for a friend of mine. So we'll be getting some videos on them. And I know you talked about a black coach and doing old What's a Chops. Hollander. And there's a Lady Hollander downstairs, but I'm not allowed to touch it. Because it's Alice's. Get out of here, Black Legion. You're not needed right now. Right, second layer. Do 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 do. Yeah, I mean, just to go back a little bit, like, I put the Contrast Plus branding in there in the title because I want people to be clear that it is going to be mainly contrast. Because I thought about for a while of making it so that they were just called How to Paint. But I thought what would happen in that instance is if I just put up like How to Paint Archaon, people will watch it and go, there's too many contrast paints, I'm not going to do this. Do you see what I mean? So like having it say Contrast Plus very clearly denotes that it's going to be a contrast based video, because I want people to be clear when they come in that they're watching what they're watching. That is the thing. Like, I think I could probably get more YouTube views and thingies if I just dropped the Contrast Plus thing together, because I think people would watch it and go, oh, it's a how to paint this. But I think I would kind of be annoying people by going, we're going to be using mostly contrast paints. And then they go, boo! And like, I did intend to do Army Painter Speed Paint Plus videos, but as it shook down, the plus was pretty much impossible on those, so I chose not to do it. But if Express Color is a thing in the new year from Vallejo, I will pick them up and I will test them because I'm fully down for it, and I think Vallejo are a really top brand. But that's part of it, right? Is like, if I put out a video that's like how to paint Sons of Bahamut. Hello everybody, we're going to be using dwarf flesh from Vallejo. Well, I can't now paint my giant. Because I don't have that Vallejo paint and I don't know where to get it. So like, it would have to be Express Color Plus as a video. That makes sense? I hope that makes sense. The only time I'm going to clickbait people is when I'm doing something that's not a painting video. I hate this about Games Workshop. Hello everybody, I'm really mad because I don't like it when I only get new releases once a week. I wish they released stuff every day because I love Warhammer. Here's my chest with a killer tattoo over the left breast. Super positive clickbait. I have thought about it in the past. Yeah, I know what you mean, Chewy. I think, like, one thing I would like to do, and it's very difficult because it would... I don't make enough money to do this, I should just point out. But I would love to do videos where they're always two-parters. And one of them is just like, this is what you need to get it to a battle ready standard, Warhipster battle ready. This is what you need to get it to the parade ready standard. Rather than contain it all within one video. But then I know that could also be annoying. Because some people don't want to see two different videos, they just want one video. But I think if I was to do that, I'd be able to spend more time on each stage. Because I kind of generally aim for the videos to be about 25 to 30 minutes long. Unless it's obviously something massive. Have you thought about making highlight colours by mixing the contrast colour with a light colour, such as Wraithbone, Phalanx Yellow, or Corax White to keep the paint list to a minimum? I hadn't thought about that, no. I mean, it's something I could try. Where do you still use Black Templar? I use Black Templar a lot more than I thought I was going to, so... On this Carcadrack, for example, Black Templar is on the horns, up here, and all the way along here. You can't tell because I've done highlights and stuff on there. Black Templar is a really good shade paint now, but it's also a really good dark grey. So one of these Chaos Knights is actually Black Templar. I think it's this one. Yeah. So you see the horse's flesh? That's Black Templar. That's not a bad shout, actually, Dave. That's a really good idea. So, battle-ready paints. Parade-ready paints. That would be the same for the brushes as well, actually. I mean, generally it's quite easy to understand, right? It's going to be battle ready, parade. Actually, because I generally just use the 3 brushes. That is a really good idea, mate. Maybe that's what I'll start doing in the new year. Do you paint full time? Yes, I do. It's the only way I can make this work. The amount of content that I'm putting out. That's fair enough, YouTube user. I think if you just have a little napkin next to you and just wipe the water off on that. I use my mouth because it's the quickest way for me to just go whoop to get it to that fine tip. It is also reflex at this point. I've been doing it for 25 years. But yeah, Martin, I do paint full time, and it's how I was able to. I mean, if I do those 10 Chaos Warriors over the next 2 days, that's how I was able to. That's how I'm able to have done 557 models. I'm currently on 547 models. Once the Karkadrak is done. 547 models done in a year. If I get these all done, that'll be 557. So I am, unfortunately, 43 shy of 600. So next year I'm going to try and get 600. Because last year I did 522 or something. This year I beat that by about 40. By 30 or 40 or something like that. I'd love to crack 600. Merry Christmas, the Alex Beast. What's your favourite paint flavour? Bubblegum. Tian Lim. Merry Christmas to you as well, my friend. Thank you so much. And good morning to you. This is a question equally for the comments as well. What does AOS have over 40k? I think AOS has more potential and a better model range and a more fun game. As it stands, we are due a 10th edition, so that might change. I'm not like super militant about it. Like if 10th edition's game is spot on, it'll blow AOS out of the water in terms of playing with it. But I just think the model range is just so much more fantastic. Nicholas, fuck man, I literally typed out the response to your comment twice, and then I got distracted. I'm so sorry. How did I do Drycha's skin? How did I do Drycha's skin? The way I did Drycha's skin, if you check out my Keeper of Secrets video, that's how I did it. It's a mixture of Apothecary White and I want to say Magos Purple. It's literally Keeper of Secrets video. How I did the flesh on the Keeper of Secrets, that is how I did it. I'm so sorry, man. Twice I did, because I saw you left a comment saying how did you do it, and I saw you left a comment saying can you respond, and I was like yes. So I went in and I typed out the response, and then I was in the middle of doing something, so I was doing that, and then I closed my browser and went to bed, and then I did the same thing again on your response, and I'm so sorry, man. Yeah, if you literally check out Keeper of Secrets video, how I did the flesh there, that's exactly how I did it on Drycha. I want to say it's a mixture of Apothecary White and Magos Purple or Shyish Purple. I can't remember which one. Another one is the Infernal Enrapturous. It's that same scheme. I'd love a Skaven guide. I got my little Skaven army unpainted. Yeah, so I've done the Deathmaster, but I've got Thanquol Bone Ripper to do. He's one of my Christmas period minis to paint for Kataro, because it's been far too long and he needs his model back. Personally buzzing for the old world to come back, as am I. I think it's going to be great. There we go. That base is done. That base is done. This base is done. And that base is nearly done. It's just got a little bit of spot that's still drying. So the Chaos Knights video should come out tomorrow at 7:30 PM. The Karkadrak should come out on Saturday. This boy. And then this one should be next Thursday. And then this should be the Saturday after. The How to Paint Black Armor video should be the following Saturday. And then we're into the next year. Everybody gets a base. Yeah, I mean, I feel like 40k's been catching up. So, like, Zarek, the Silent King, it's very, very good centerpiece. Gazkul, very good centerpiece. I feel like the Angron model is excellent. Magnus is good. Mortarion is very good. The trouble is you've got a lot of factions where it doesn't make sense. So, like, the Astra Militarum, the Lord Solar Leontus, he could be on a tank. But he's not. He's on a horse, which is cool, but he's not massive. The Space Marines have the Guilliman model, and the Stormcast have Krondys and Karazai. How did I do her hair on Drycha? Let me grab the pit model out. Oh, come here, you bugger. That hair is... So the hair on... Here we go. So the hair on Drycha here is Volupus Pink. This is all Flesh Tearers Red, but I dry brushed the leaves and the hair with Fulgrim Pink. So that's Volupus Pink, dry brush with Fulgrim Pink. The beehive is Skeleton Horde. The bark is the same as the thing I did in the stream the other day for the Tree Lord. And that's it. Oh, this down here is, that's Talasar Blue. And then the whole thing is dry brushed with Karak Stone. It's not just you, da FQ. I'm really hoping that we get Araby, and I'm really hoping that, well, I know we're getting Grand Cathay and Kislev. Those are very important. I think having those models come out would be awesome. Bring back Cetra. Yeah, Cetra the Imperishable. Good night, Chewie. Pleasant dreams and a Merry Christmas to you, sir. I had an old Orc model from the 90s. I think it was a Gauss gun or something like that. I had a chance each turn that it detonated and killed everyone in the vicinity. Oh yeah, no, there's the pink leaves on the pink leaves in my Sylvaneth. So the leaves I paint them all with Flesh Tearers red and then dry brush it with Fulgrim pink. On Drycha, I painted the hair with Volupus pink and then dry brushed it with Fulgrim pink. Good night to you, Hugo. Yeah, so yeah, it literally, if you just Volupus pink on its own and then dry brush it with Fulgrim, you're off to the races. Fulgrim pink dry brush is really effective. Dry brushing is a godsend. It absolutely is, Philip. Do 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 do. We're gonna jump onto the face camera because it's 10:30. We've been going for 2 long hours. And this is the last stream of 2022, my friends. So we're going to bed shortly. Well, you are, and I'm not. I'm going to paint the Chaos Lord on Karkadrak tonight. But yes, we are probably going to end there. So, if anybody has any burning questions they have to ask me live, I suggest you do so right now. Because our next live won't be till January, where I'm going to be much better at consistently doing it. I might even do some streams during the day. For our friends over in America and around the world. And for all of you working from home. Do you plan on doing any Kroot or Imperial Navy breaches? Yes, when the Kroot or Imperial Navy breaches come out on their own, I may pick them up. What does AOS have over fantasy? Again, it has a future. It's got a lot of potential on where it can go. It's got some epic things that could happen. We've already seen some massive stuff happen in the Broken Realms, which was amazing. There's just so many places for it to go. And I think it's going to get mental in the next couple of editions. I think you're going to see some really badass stuff happen. You're going to see some Stormcasts seriously step up to the plate and then die horribly and heroically. But I think we're going to see some awesome stuff. Are you getting any Warhammer for Christmas? I don't think so. I might be getting one Blood Bowl team, but I'm not sure. If anyone wants to buy me some Warhammer for Christmas, they are more than welcome to. You saw the new Pat Pussies minute. When are you going to paint them? For Slanesh? No? I don't know what you mean. Just wanted to say thank you for the Catan guide. Just finished him. Oh, you're very welcome, John. I'm glad you enjoyed that one. Running, will you have any plans? Any plans to do some more Nighthaunt paints? Yes. Yeah, no, we talked about this earlier. I think I've got some Glaive Race Stalkers and some Mirmorn Banshees to do. So we won't be doing them later next year. How do we buy your stuff? I'm actually going to be doing a fire sale on a lot of stuff in the new year to raise some money for charity and also for myself, because I need to clear out some space in this cabinet of wonders. There's gonna be a bunch of stuff. They're called Ripper Jack. Oh, is this the new kind of flappy thing that I saw? I don't know. If I get them, I'll paint them. I probably won't pick them up myself. I don't have much desire. It's mostly just whack glue and flesh over it and call it a day. I saw the pictures. I thought they looked cool. No questions, but Merry Christmas, everyone, and a big Happy New Year. How do we buy you stuff? Oh. Oh, you could drop a super chat now if you wanted to, and then I'll buy the stuff. If you wanted to send me some cash, I'll buy some miniatures, or you can tell me what you want me to buy and then send me the cash for it, and I'll buy it and paint it. If I haven't already done it on the channel, that's the thing. Someone says to me, "I'll send you money to paint Maratha." It's like, mate, just buy my one. It's fine. Yeah, if you wanted to drop a little super chat, you can, YouTube user. Of course you can. Or you can support the channel in many different ways, and that helps me buy more stuff to paint for all of you. The Grace here passes you the booth. Do you accept receive? Passes you the booth. Excellent. Love it. Oh my goodness. Do you have any plans to paint any more Lumineth minis? Yes, I've got the rest of the Lumineth Realms, the Lumineth Realm Lords range to paint. And I've actually now got spare Lumineth, so we'll eventually get around to doing the Great Cities as well. But yes, there's going to be a ton of Lumineth stuff coming up this year. I've got everything that could be done for the Lumineth, I've got it. So, Stone Guards, yep, I've got Stone Guards. I've even got the Underworld's Warband. I've got the Hurricane. I've got all of the Cavalry. I've already done the Dawn Riders, but I could do them again, actually. Updated video. More horse recipes, because everybody likes horse recipes, don't they? But yeah, there'll be a load of stuff coming next year for the Lumineth, for sure. I like the Stone Guards. I think they're really good. In my Lumineth Battletome review video, I actually suggested taking 15 of them, I think. 15 or 20 or 10. Anyway. If that's all, I'll give you 3 minutes to ask any more burning questions, and we'll go off at 11:15. I'll tell you what, to FQ, I'll make Stone Guard the #1 priority for the Lumineth. I will find a time to build them and paint them. Sort of January, February time. I've got a lot of thinking to do over this kind of next Christmas period about kind of structuring how I release content. Like, ideally, I would love it if I could do one AOS video, one 40k video, one MESBG video, and one specialist games video per week. I obviously can't do all that by myself, so I would need to hire another painter, but I don't have any money to do that, so we're kind of a long way off from doing that. But I want to kind of structure it so that, like, that's kind of how we are representing more and more stuff more frequently on the channel, because everybody needs help with painting, and I love doing it. I just need to set up a really good workflow whereby it's like, hey, this week it's MESBG week where we do these 2 things, and then Saturdays and Sundays are kind of reserved for new releases and stuff. Will the Titan be in 2023? Yes, the Titan will be in 2023. I actually thought the other day about submitting the Titan for Golden Demon. It's a choice. You see, the thing is do I do the Warhound Titan or Archaon? I kind of want to take them both. Peter, that is so very kind of you. You need Chapter Master Raldoron to go with Sanguinius. I do, absolutely. And with that $100 donation, I can buy him. I've wanted Malderon for so long. I also want Ascalon as well. He's not out yet, or exists. as far as I know. But I really want to do him. That's so very, very kind of you. That's very, very kind of you. I will pick up Raldoron then. That is something I will do. That'll be a January, hopefully a January video. I basically need to get a big bath and put a lot of resin in it. You deserve so many more subs. That's very kind of you, Eater of Worlds. This year, this calendar year, we've had 15,000 new subscribers on the channel. So we've actually doubled our audience nearly. It was so close to 30,000. It's not even funny. I don't think we're going to hit that by the end of the year. We definitely will hit it in January, I'm sure. What do you think of the Warhammer movie and series by Henry Cavill? Yeah, we talked about that earlier. The FQ. I'm excited for it, but I also don't care because we've got nothing to know about it. I just hope it's good, and we'll see soon. We'll see very, very soon. It should be, if it's a good TV show, it'll be a great thing. And I can't wait to welcome tons of new hobbyists into the world of Warhammer and subscribers to the channel. Let's go for 60 next year. 60k. Can we double it up? We're on 29, 100 and something. Can we get to 60 next year? We shall see. We shall see. Right. Peter, that was incredibly generous of you. Thank you so much. Warhipster 60k. Yeah, that'll be when I release my own board game version with 3D printed versions of all of the models, but just updated to 60k, where they're all shooting laser beams out of their eyes. I kind of just want to hang out for another sort of 15-20 minutes now. I feel like you guys deserve it. I really do need to paint this Karkadrak. I remember the excitement around 10k, Rich. It was bonkers. I was like, oh my god, we're going to get to 10. Oh my god, we done it. And then 20 just kind of appeared. And then 30 is within arm's reach. Like, my main goals were like, I want to get to 5. Then I want to get to 10. Then I want to get to 20. Then I want to get to 40. Then I want to get to 80. Then I want to get to 160. Then I want to get to 1 million. If you occasionally showed a bare ankle, you may reach 60k. A bare ankle, you say? I am not that flexible. That actually just hurt my hip. Oh, what is going on? Oh dear. That was, I'd have to stand up. One day I'll show you a bare ankle bomb head, Brian. I'll do it just for you. I just discovered 4K. What's the dealio with orcs and tyranids? Are they unstoppable? Yeah. They are. In many ways and shapes and forms. They're literally just hanging on for dear life. It's like trying to hold back the tide. Reza is here with a Zoo. When you get 60k, make 24-hour live stream painting of new old world minis. Do you know what? .fq. I'm just going to go with it. If I get to 60k and the old world is out, I will 100% do that. 100%. This is the thing, guys. I think that when we get to like 100,000 subs, that'll be when I can hire somebody, and then we can do some truly ludicrous stuff. Like we can do all the batshit insane ideas. Like 24 hours or 48-hour live streams, and try not to lose all of the footage this time. Good evening, Maverick, and a Merry Christmas to you, sir. Random question, but what Christmas tradition you enjoy the most? Pigs in blankets. I don't have them any other time of the year. Pigs in blankets comes around. Sausages wrapped in bacon. It's genius. Should have it all the time. Should have it every weekend. I should have it at least once a week. I don't, but have it once a year. It's my favourite thing in the whole wide world. I actually, up until, I'm not ashamed to admit this, up until the age of 30, whenever I had Christmas at home, which was every Christmas I'd had up until that point, I think. Yeah, because I've had one here now. I would go to bed early so that my dad could bring me up and put a stocking on my feet. I'm still a child, and I love Christmas. So having my stocking brought up to me as a child, as the child I am, that's my favourite tradition in the world. I love presents in bed. I don't open them, no, because we do it all together. But I just love getting them and having them there. Bash a grot on a pig in blanket. I could do that. Have to cook up one pig in a blanket, then seal it with PVA glue forever, then put a grot on it. Or do we craft a grot out of some food stuff that we can then make it edible? Have you looked at how quickly people like Midwinter Minis expanded? Yeah, they're kind of, a lot of the times those channels kind of just hits at the right time. Something just goes right and it just blows up. And I'm getting to that point of, like, it could blow up. Like, one day my videos could just explode out of nowhere. Like, the Demon Prince video did very well. And when I released it, it just hit at the right time. The YouTube algorithm just took it. It had like 10,000 views in the first, like, sort of 2 or 3 days. What I need is that to happen on a big stage. And I could do stuff that's a little bit more clickbaity to try and help that along, but I don't really want to do that. So it's the big test will be something like when Angron comes out. If I get Angron early as a review copy, and I get that video out at 10 o'clock in the morning on the day of pre-order, it might just explode. Is there any plant where life is possible like here on Earth in the Imperium? Do you mean, is there any like nature left on Earth? Because not really, not in the 41st millennium. It's like this, there's kind of like little bits of it that are like owned by the rich and cultivated there, but like not like the wilds really anymore. It's mostly arid desert and pollution. It's a horrible planet to live on. Oh, not everywhere is grimdark, YouTube. There are some paradises. I mean, there's paradise planets, there's pleasure planets, there's holiday planets, there's planets that are untouched by civilization that are considered idyllic. There are ones that are known as maiden worlds, which are planets where Eldar have gone to live, and they live a very simple existence, and they hide from the wider universe. They're very much in touch with nature. They're known as Exodites, I believe. Yeah, there's everything that can happen in the 41st millennium is out there. It's just a lot of the time, war is coming, or war is happening, so it can tend to mess things up just a little bit. Yeah, no, absolutely. There's planets that are very similar to Earth, where everything is pretty much as it is here. Kind of there's civilizations that have been kind of lost, that are kind of not technologically advanced at all. There's even like feudal civilizations out there where they're kind of even pre-industrial revolution planets out there. Remember to read it up on the end times for Christmas, everyone. Very cheerful stuff. Emperor's Children release versus Exodite release, which would be better? I feel like the Exodite release would be way more model focused and it would look better. I feel like the Emperor's Children release is one that I think people would go nuts if it didn't come out sooner rather than later. So I think I think the Exodite release would look a lot better in terms of its models. I think it would just look fantastic. I think you'll get dinosaurs and stuff like that. It would just be amazing. But I think the Emperor's Children stuff is the one that people are after way more than the Exodites. New question again. Do we like the Immortal Emperor? I like him. He's pretty cool. I mean, he's a bit of an arsehole, but he's cool, dude. He's, you know, he's waging the eternal war against chaos in the warp. He's protecting the soul of humanity. Hoping for a dark mech release now that we've seen Vashtor. Do you have a like I can buy some books / audiobooks with to support you? Have a link. I don't, unfortunately, YouTube. But man, just go check out Audible or even the Black Library app. You can support me by liking this stream and hitting the subscribe button. And then one day I'll partner with Audible, and that would be nice. What novel would you recommend a 40k or AOS newbie for their first? Age of Sigmar. It's tough. I think just as a good book for Age of Sigmar, a really good book is Plague Garden. I feel like some of the Gates of the Realm Gate Wars books are pretty good for AOS starters. A really fun book that's really just a cool read is the Cursed City novel. That was really good. The Dominion novel, actually, for Age of Sigmar, that was really, really good. I enjoyed that one. 40k is a little bit tough because there's so much choice. Some people say go back and read the Horus Heresy. I don't really agree, but I think if you want to kind of kick things off with 40k, I feel like reading the Gaunt's Ghosts novels. Some of them are just really good introductions to how the world works, because they were written so early on. Soul Wars was a great book. The AOS Gotrek books are quite good because he is literally waking up in the Immortal Realms and having it explained to him that he's actually his stuff. I think is it Git Slayer is the first one, or is it Realm Slayer? Is that the first one in Age of Sigmar? One of the Gotrek books is a really good place to start for Age of Sigmar. 40k is tough though. It's like what faction do you like the most, and then kind of look at what books they've got there. But as a kind of generic one, yeah, I feel like the Gaunt's Ghost books are really good. Eisenhorn is also a very good shout. Yeah, it was Realm Slayer. I thought it was. But yeah. Anyway, it is 3 minutes to 11. We've gone over by half an hour. I just really wanted to talk to all of you. Thank you so much for the super chats. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy your memberships, guys. Those who got them. And I hope you have a great Christmas, everybody. Oh, Trent. Oh, I'm sorry. If you go onto my YouTube channel and click the little bell notification and put the notifications to all, you'll always get notified at that point. That way you will never miss one. Have a great one, guys. I hope you have a really lovely Christmas. Thank you so much for all the support you've given me this year. I am going to do a video that's specifically thanking all of you. I'm going to do that. Maybe we'll get 5 videos out before the end of the year. But I think it was my phone, not you. Fair enough, Trent. But you made it just in time to say farewell. That's what counts. So I will wish Trent. I will wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I thank you so much for dropping in, and thank you so much to everybody else who hung out tonight. I will see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming to each and every single one of you. You absolute legends and bosses. I love you guys. Peace. No, we're not going to end up that. Love you very much. Happy wargaming.